We're going to begin this programming segment with a little tour of the Visual Basic interface. We're using Visual Basic 2008 Express Edition. This edition is free. It's a free download from Microsoft. And you can go to a Microsoft website, and I will go over this with you later of how to get this so you can put it on your computers at home and actually program with Visual Basic. This Visual Basic Express Edition has many of the features that the regular Visual Basics have, except there are a few less objects and things you can work with. At any rate, let's get started here. First, we want to go to, when you bring it up on the screen, you'll find it somewhere in the Start menu. You go down to Start, into Programs, all the programs, not program files, and then you'll look for it. It's probably near the end of the list because I just added it recently, and you'll start it. It'll come up sort of like this, and the first thing you probably want to do is get rid of this page. And so you go up here to the corner, notice where I'm at, and I'm going to click in that little X, and that disappears that page. Now I'm going to go over here to New Project, click on New Project, and I want to have a Windows Form application. That's this one here on the left. Okay, this first one. Yours may, in fact, come up like this. I'm going to go ahead and change the name. This is a project. So we always start it with a 3-letter code. And the first 3 letters of the name is always in lowercase. This is standard naming. This is what I want you to get used to. So PRJ for project. And I'm going to put adder. Let's put first adder. And to do this, you capitalize each word, but there are no spaces allowed in names. So F-I-R-S-T, first A-D-D-E-R, first adder. Notice how I capitalize. This is called Hungarian notation, or it's called camel notation. So there's a lot of names for this type of notation. I'm going to click OK, and I've got my basic project started here. It's slowly coming up, and I'm going to find a few things added to my desktop now. Here is my project, and you can see there's an hourglass here. There we go, and we actually get a form on screen, and several other things come up. We start out with a form, and the form is the basic window that we work with. And so the first thing you do is you click on that, and down here below are several of the properties of this form. This is the property window down in here. You'll notice it says right there, property window. I want to rename it. I'm going to click twice on it to get the full property list, and the first thing I'm going to do is go up to the name, which is right up here at the top. I'm going to double click on that, and since this is a form, our first 3 letters are all in lowercase, F-R-M for form, and I'm going to call it adder, A-D-D-E-R, adder. Okay, I've named my form. As soon as I click, you'll notice in some other cell, you'll notice it gives it a name, and that basically is the name of our form. Now, if I go up and click again on this thing to get back to the original ones, I want to change the file name also. So I'm going to come over here, and it has to end in VB for Visual Basic. I'm going to just change the front, just so I know. This is FRM, and then ADDER, adder. Okay, so I've got that changed. Now let's see, click on something else. And if you look up here, you'll see that, in fact, has changed the name up in this area. Click on it again. Let's see, double click on it to get back to the main properties. I'm going to come down to where it says text, so you have to scroll down to almost the bottom. Click on text. Now text is the thing that appears up in this blue area here. Take a look at this. See this area right here? That thing is where the text appears. So I'm going to come back down here, and I'm going to rename this, let's see, let's call it my ADDER, adder. Okay? Now, I may have spaces in a text, but I may not have spaces in a name. If I click off of that, you'll see it adds it up here in this upper corner. Okay, so there it is, my adder. All right, let's come down, and we've taken care of that. We can adjust a few more things in this form. First of all, I'm going to make it a little bigger. just a little larger. And I'm going to come over now and let's take care of background. There's several things I can do with the background here. If I go up to the top here, I've got what's called a back color. And if I drop the list down, it has System, Web Safe Colors, and Custom. I'm going for Custom. Let's make the back of my form, how about this one? Okay, there we are. Back of my form is that color. Now, the next thing I need to do, let's see. Let's make this, well, I could. I'm going to show you where it's at, but we're not going to do it in this video. I could put a picture on it, and if we come down to the P's, notice these are alphabetically ordered. We can find a place, I'm sure. I'm wasting time here. Let's not do that right now. There is a way of setting the picture on the background. I'll show you that later. I want to now introduce you to the toolbox, and the toolbox is where you get objects to place on this form. The first object, I want to put a heading across here on the form itself. So if I go up to there, out comes my toolbox, and we have all Windows forms here. Well, gee, let's just kind of settle it down a little bit. I'm going to close that one, as a matter of fact, just by clicking that minus sign there. And now we have common controls. We're going to stick with the common controls. Take the general off. And we're going to go to the common controls here, and the first thing we want to do is a label. A label is a place where you put text that people can read. So I click on that, come over to my form, okay, click on my form, and make myself a label. There's a label. I'm going to type, and you notice when an object is selected, the properties of that object, say label 1, the properties of that object over here are the things that are shown in the property window. So when I have the form selected, the form was the properties, and now I've got the label selected, so the label's the properties. Okay, so I got that label selected. Let's come over here and name it. Labels will always have a 3-letter name, LBL, and we're going to call this title, T-I-T-L-E, okay? And if I come down here after I've got the name, I want to do the text again. And there's my text field. And I want to put my adder, M-Y space A-D-D-E-R. And I need to increase the size of that text a little bit. So let's open up the font, and here under size, 825, that's nice. Wonder if I can get just on the font, if I can get a build button. There's a build button in the font. It's usually easier to do it this way than typing all those in separately. So I clicked on that. I've got an ordinary font build button. I'm going to go, let's see, how big should I go? 28? How big is 28? And let's try it. Let's make that bold. And we can change our type. Gee, what's this look like? Oh, that's interesting. Let's try that. I might need to go higher with that, 72. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. Okay. And now I need to go up and move that label over onto my background. There we go. And so now I have a label adder on my background. There are other things we can do that we'll go over in time, and I'll show you how to do those. Dealing with the background of the label, you can make it a different color. Right now the back color is this, but there's also a way of making it transparent. When you have pictures on, you may want to do that. Okay, with that in mind now, let's go back to the form, get a little wider. You know what? I'm going to center this a little better. Okay, back to my toolbox. I want 3 more labels and 3 text boxes, and then a command button. Let's do the labels first. I'll do them quickly here. 1. Okay, I'm going to call that first number. Let's see, where am I at here? I've got to get up in the name. LBL, F-I-R-S-T, and U-M-B-E-R. That's the name of it, okay? And for text in that label, I'm going to type first number. F-I-R-S-T and U-M-B-E-R. Okay, good. We got that done. Now let's go get another label quickly. Here we go. Second label. We're going to call it second number. So while I'm down there, C-C-O-N-D, space, U-M-B-E-R number. Okay, that's second number, and now I have to name it that way. LBL, LBL, C-C-O-N-D, second, no spaces, and U-M-B-E-R number. Okay, we got it named correctly. And now, let's see, the last label is going to be total. Okay, LBL, T-O-T, total. Okay, and the text will be total. How about that? T-O-T-L, total. Okay, we got it now. Those are my labels that I'm working with, and I'm just going to leave them the same size. You realize you can change font, make them a different background color if you choose. And I'm going to kind of line them up on that end. You got little lines here that help you line things up. Okay, now I need text boxes. A text box is used when you wish to enter data in this. So I'm going to create a text box here. And this is going to be called TXT, first number. So let's go bring this up to the top. Where's my name? Here it is. TXT is my prefix. Let's see, first, and U-M-B-E-R, number. Okay. And let's get a second one. Text box again. Good. And let's see, we're going to call it TXT, S-E-C-O-N-D, second, and it'll look like this, correct spelling. S-E-C-O-N-D, second, and U-M-B-E-R, number. Okay, good, we got that one named. And finally, for the last text box, we're going to do total. Okay, and that's going to be TXT, T-O-T-A-L, total. All right, so now we got our text boxes properly named. Last thing I'm going to put on this adder is a button to do my work. And the button I want to do used to be called command button. It's simply called a button here. We used to use these and we called them command buttons, and we'd put CMD as the heading on it. I'm going to simply put BTN on it for the start. BTN. And then we're going to give it a name, add, add, A-D-D. So that's the name of the button. Now I'd like to come down and get a little text on it if I could. So let's see, where is it? Text should be down here in the alphabetic text. There we go. Let's just put the word add, A-D-D. All right, so now we got add on the button. And again, the button, you can fancy it up too. You can align text differently. You can put colors on it, change backgrounds. But like I said, we're just getting the basics here. Up to this point, you have not written a bit of code, not one single bit of code. Yet, there's been hundreds of lines of code written, or at least many lines of code written, to produce this form. We can run this form now. It won't do a whole lot, but we can run this form. While we're doing this here, I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger and change things just slightly. Okay, that looks good. All right, another thing we should do in text, whenever you have text in a box, you should align it to the right-hand side. I'm sorry, a text should be aligned to the left-hand side of the box. Numbers should be aligned to the right-hand side of the box. So I'm going to go up and look for alignment. Let's see, I think I'm on the correct one. Well, I don't see that now. They put that in a different place from the old one. So let's leave it like it is now and get on with the code to show you how to actually code these things. But the thing you should know, we could run this right now. First thing I'm going to do with this much, I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I want to make a new folder in the area I'm going to save it in. So I'm going to go to File, Save Project. Let's see, I'm saving the form. Save As is where I want to go to. And I'm going to do project first adder. You can see it right there. So we've got a project folder for it, and the form is there. So I'm going to save it. Okay, form adder, and the adder design, and asks if I want to replace it, and as a matter of fact, yes, I do. So I'm going to replace that, and now it's saved. To run this thing, there's a little arrow here to start. When we want to pause it temporarily, we can break, and when we want to stop, we can stop. And it says stop debugging, and this type of a run is for debug. Okay, so I'm going to start it, and if you look here, all of a sudden, it simply compiles it, and there it is. Here's my form right on the screen. It's over top of my other one. I could type some numbers in here, and then go down to the next one, type some more numbers, and then if I push the button, you see the button goes in and out. Nothing happens, because we haven't told it what to do when we push that button. So that's our next assignment. I can stop it here, or I can stop it here. I'm going to choose to stop it here. And it goes back into edit mode now, so I'm now editing again. Let's do some code now. There's two ways to get at the coding window. If you double-click the object you wish to put the code behind, it will come up with the code window and automatically make a method for you to put that code in. And that's the easiest way to do it. The other way to jump to the code window is up here in these things where it says View Code or View Design. Right now we're viewing design. We could jump to View Code if we wanted to. But we're going to double-click to get that method first. So I'm double-clicking here, and now the code window is going to come up. There's the code window, and there is my private sub btn add, button add, click. So when it's clicked, whatever code I put in here is going to run. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at what we want to do. We wish to take the numbers out of the first two boxes, add them together, and put them in the last box. And so you use the names of the things to do that. So the place you wish to put it has to come first. So txt, okay, and look, it pops up with a little window giving me a choice, so I don't even have to type the whole thing. I can either click on it, or if I don't want to remove my keys from the keyboard, I can simply put the next type of a character, the next thing I want, which is I want a dot because I want to specify a special place to get that. So I'm going to push a period, and immediately it puts first number there, which I didn't really want, so we'll go back. Try it again. txt, and I really wanted total. I'm going to come down with the arrow keys. Now I'm going to push a dot. There we go. That's what I got. And I want the text on that. So I'm going to push an equal sign now, and that puts that up there. So this is a quick typing method, so you don't have to type still. And I'm going to do it again. txt, and this time I want first number, dot, text, plus sign, okay, txt, and then I want to come down to the second number, dot, and I can just push enter at this point, and it gives it to me. Okay, I'm going to go back up to there. Now that should do it. Well, almost. There's a little problem here, and you'll see that in a few minutes. It's taking the text from the first, it's going to add it to the text in the second, and it's going to put the answer over there in total. Let's save this just by clicking on the disk. I'm going to save all. Okay. Yeah. Looks pretty good. Save it. Excuse me, I hit the microphone. Alright, so let's go down to try it now. I'm going to push the Start Debugging button. It's compiling. There's my form. Let's see how this works. Let's add 54, and I can tab, and I'll hit 67. Okay, now I'm going to come down here and just push the add button, see what happens. Gee, I don't think that worked right. What did it really do here? If you look carefully, the 54 has been tacked on, the 54 has been put on the front of 67. It took the 54 first, and then it added to the end of that 67. And that's exactly what we told it to do. We did not tell it to really add the numbers. We told it to add the text, because these are text boxes. Okay, and what happens if we hit it again? Well, it's going to give us the same answer. Let's go ahead and stop this, go back and correct our error. We really don't want the text here to be added together, which is called concatenation. We want the value of the text. And so I'm going to prefix this with the VAL, open parentheses. And yeah, it tells me all this information, which is really handy and you should read. And then close parentheses there, and I'm going to come over and do the same thing on the other one. VAL, open parentheses, and then go to the end. I missed. Where am I at? Close parentheses. There we go. Now, let's see how this works. I'm going to save it just to make sure. It's saved. Okay, here goes. Here goes a run. We'll see if this works now. 54, tab. Oh, let's do 21. Okay, so hopefully I won't get 5421. I'll get 75. What do you think? Hey, that works. Beautiful, isn't it? All right, so your assignment is to go into Visual Basic Express and to make me a full group of 4 buttons over here. Just like this. First number, second number, and down here put answer maybe. And then over here have a button for add, a button for multiply, a button for subtract, and a button for divide. And what I would like to have done then is that when you push the button for add, it'll add. When you push the button for subtract, it'll take this number down here and subtract it from this number up here. Divide also does the same thing in that manner. And the answer will appear down here in the answer. And you won't call it my adder, you'll put your name on it and call it something unique.